Tata Mumbai Marathon 2026, I finished in 3 hours 36 minutes and 52 seconds, improving my time by 12 minutes and 30 seconds compared to TMM 2025. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Biology. In this video, I will connect TMM 2025 and TMM 2026, how I fixed the mistakes of last year and what has actually worked on the race day. If you have seen my TMM 2025 debrief, this will make complete sense. I have pinned the video at the top if you want to watch it fast. This will be a longer video because I will walk through data, pacing, heart rate, elevation and fueling decisions. I will also share a PDF of my HR based pacing and fueling plan which you can adapt for your own marathons. Let's get into the race. Before getting into the decisions, let's see the data and conditions of both the races. This is TMM 2025. You can see the distance and the time on the screen as well as the temperature and humidity condition. 22 degrees Celsius with 71% humidity. If I move to TMM 2026 and come to the temperature, it is around 21 degree and humidity was a little bit higher, but actual feel according to me was a little bit cooler than last year, a little bit. And you can also see the timing and the distance here. This 12 minutes and 30 seconds I mostly saved using better execution plan, and this is exactly what I am going to discuss towards the later part of the video with the help of my PDF. These were the mistakes which I fixed this year, starting with the first one, how I ran TSK 2025 and what happened during the recovery phase. So TSK 25 I did not even race. I made it very tempo run and within the range of 160 to 165 heartbeat per minute. Also after the race I did not do a lot of running and kept my legs fresh and tried to recover fast and then resume running. Also this time I did not ignore injury signs during training. I stopped trying to cope up by overeating and focused on proper recovery and taper fueling. I prioritized sleep, flew to Mumbai, avoided train travels and made sure I was well rested. On the race day, I stayed patient. I did not start too fast, followed the plan, stayed in control and only pushed when it was time. That made the difference. Along with that, I also ran more kilometers this year to support my base building. Now let us look at the fueling and HR pacing plan which I used during the race week and also on the race day. I will add a link of this PDF file in my comment and also in the description. Feel free to download it. But for now, let me give you an high level overview. What was the main objective of this plan and how did it work? So the main objective was to keep the gut settled and ready for gels and water to absorb on the race day. The main logic was to eat the food which are easy to digest and glycogen high but keeps bloating at low level and also gives your stomach a little bit easy to digest food. Now look at the foods which I choose. They are all low fiber and low fermentation and also very much available in India, so we can use this sort of food very easily. I kept protein as well but in a small clean amount. I also kept vegetable but in a small low fiber kind of vegetables. I mostly avoided fruits and starting from Wednesday I stopped consuming any milk and dairy product as a whole because I had bloating issues and digestion issues with milk and dairy products earlier except the curd. The day before race, that is on Saturday, I kept the similar food on my plate and also kept it very boring, very simple. I mindfully added salt on my dishes, a little bit extra every time I consume. One thing I learned last year in the hardest way, that for a successful marathon I need at least 3 things in place. Number 1, my overall fitness, legs fitness. Number 2, my heart's fitness, that is my aerobic fitness. And number 3, my stomach's fitness. And that is how I took care this year my stomach fitness using the diet. Regarding the race fueling strategy, I decided to not take anything caffeinated because I knew the temperature will be higher and early caffeines can increase my HR. So I decided to take the gels and electrolytes tablets without any caffeine. Also pre-race I had 400 calories approximately and then introduced 6 gels in a 30 minutes interval, and most of the time the gels I took with water. Most importantly, I used salt electrolyte capsules, 2 to 3 capsules during the run, on an interval of 1 hour. Before making the HR pacing plan, I looked very carefully at the route and also the elevation profile of the route. And looking at the elevation profile, I easily understood that the first 10 kilometers were the area where we have a little bit of decline but zigzag pattern. Then at 10 kilometer we had a huge elevation. After that we had a decline, steady decline, then again zigzag pattern elevation, steady, and then a flat road till 34, from 30 to 34 kilometers, and then comes the pedal road, and the finishing line was a little bit zigzag but mostly flat. But looking at the data, it looks like that we can push a lot here to cope up, but during kilometer 12.5 to 20th, if we push a lot harder, it will be difficult to complete the remaining of the race with the fitness. Now this is a oversimplified version of the recommended HR ranges for a marathon based on a max heart rate of 200. First 10 kilometers 160, next 15 kilometers 168, till 35 kilometer 175, and the race you finish it with 180, and these are the caps based on the efforts mentioned here. Along with these recommended HR ranges, I used the elevation profile to carve out the actual pacing plan for the race. I started easy, hold back, then settled into rhythm, and then during the first elevation I protected the HR, did not fight the hill, and then again settled down, looked at the form, did not want to lose the form. Then again during the next or last elevation respected the hill, and then tried to finish the race with a little bit faster pace. Also I knew that following this plan during the race will be very difficult and there will be deviations from the plan. So I made two simple rules which I can follow. Number one, keeping heart rate under 170 till 10 kilometers and under 175 till kilometer 30th. Now let's look at the actual race stats. And before that, if you are still watching, a like, a share or a subscribe really helps and motivates me to keep making detailed videos like this. Sub 330 marathon needs 459 average pacing per kilometer, and TMM had 400 meter extra, so it has to be within 456 to cope up with that extra distance. Now if we look at the overall stats kilometer by kilometer, we can see I have respected the cap till kilometer 10 11, that is one not crossing 170. Though I had the elevation and the pacing was little bit slower, still I did not push harder. Also after that I respected the same thumb rule, not crossing 175 till kilometer 21, that is half marathon. But by that time I realized that I lost a lot of time here, starting from kilometer 1, every kilometer 5 to 10 seconds, and in some kilometers more than this. By 21 kilometers I had a lot to fill in, so I had to decide on that moment whether I finish after 330 or give a max try, which is going to be very hard and a little bit risky as well. But then I decided to give my max effort, though there is a little bit risk, but I will be careful to observe how my body reacts. If there is a pain, if there is something which I think will be difficult to maintain, I will slow down and finish after 330. Otherwise I will push harder. So kilometer 22 onwards I pushed really harder, crossed the limit. The limit was 175, and by kilometer 30 I crossed the limit by 5 beats per minute. I kept pushing this till 35th kilometer and mostly kept under 5, but then I met pedal road on 36 kilometer, 39 kilometer onwards, I again tried to push it harder, but by then my left leg started paining. So I realized that 330 is still a dream for this year. So at kilometer 40, I again decided to slow down and finish it strong without any major injury. The second half was really a borderline execution with a very high risk, and I was lucky that I did not bonk on that day and finished the race with strong legs. Even though the race went much better this year, the preparation was not perfect. I did make a few new mistakes, and when you add them up, they probably cost me around 5 to 10 minutes on the race day. I think these were the main mistakes that I have committed this year. Number one, poor hydration during Vedanta Delhi half marathon, and if you have not seen this video, I have pinned it here. Number two, recovery, not paying attention during the recovery, specifically with fasting. I had Monday as a fasting day every week, and I did not stop it after VDHM and continued doing this. Also, I think overconfidence played a little role in my mindset after VDHM, and also I had a mix of training, and sometimes I overtrained in the gym like a bodybuilder but not like an athlete to avoid injuries. And if I look at the mileage till September, I built the mileage in a progressive overload manner, but because of the poor recovery after VDHM, I could not sustain it, and ultimately my base mileage dropped significantly in October, November and December. So this chart, fitness and freshness in Strava, exactly talks about how this low mileage impacted my overall fitness, starting from 75 as the highest peak in this year in September, and then because after VDHM I could not continue the base mileage, the fitness continued to drop, and then before TMM it touched 40-43, which is exactly like last year. In late December, I realized this mistake, but it was too late by then to fix this. So my only hope was the execution plan. And that's how TMM 2026 went. Going forward, I'll keep working on these learnings and give my best effort. I know the process won't be easy, but I genuinely enjoy the preparation. So I am not afraid. That's all for today, friends. I will see you in the next episode of Birajology. Until then, take care.